Welcome, my friends. Let's talk about the end of awakening. Yes, there is one. There is end to spiritual awakening. My name is Jim Tolles. As many of you know, I'm a spiritual teacher. I've been blogging regularly since 2010 at spiritualawakeningprocess.com. And of course, I do videos here, and I invite you all to sign up to my free newsletter. It's mentioned down in the description below so that we can stay in touch. To all things, there is an end. Anything that has a process has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Awakening in the sense of letting go of ego and coming out of illusion can end. In my 5 outcomes video that you're all welcome to watch after watching this one, I talk about them a little bit more in depth. Some of the simplest ones to mention are the ones where we give up the path. So in that way, the letting go of ego, letting go of illusion has now ended, and we have gone back to the old illusions. That's actually very, very common. There is the plateau where we get to a certain point and we're like, you know what, this is good enough, which of course is an ego decision. And we're done. And there are a couple others, but I actually want this one to be focused on the rarest and the most hopeful, which is when we've really let go of attachment to ego and to the body. Body attachments are powerful. Now, letting go of attachments is not saying that you won't feel fear. It just means the fear doesn't get a say in your decisions. That's what it means to be free of fear. Letting go of attachments to the body and ego is not saying that you won't have experiences of desire. But the desire doesn't get a say in your decisions. You see? That's the freedom. Freedom doesn't say that you are going to stop experiencing aspects of the human biology. It says you are free to fully experience all of that biology. And fear and desire are part of our biology. They're not bad. They're a problem when we feed belief into them. They're a problem when we believe that we should be scared of things or desire certain things and are totally lost in those illusions that we create. That's a problem. But there's a point through the inner work and the letting go process that you've let go. And if some sort of sticky issue comes up, it's not that you can't work on that and let that go. You can. It just isn't quite so necessary. You're still free to go back and become more unconscious. Right? So this isn't an endpoint in the way people think of it. In fact, we're giving up that idea of endpoints. That's one of the ways that we know that we really are done with awakening. And it's important to distinguish learning from awakening. People confuse a lot of different things in there. It's like, well, I'm always learning things. It's like, yes, you should be, because this is a vast universe and there's a lot to learn. We're not talking about learning. We're talking about being attached to old patterns that just want to loop. They offer you nothing new. They just give you the same thing over and 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 over again. That's what they do. At the end of awakening of the spiritual path, this path towards freedom and liberation, when you realize that you've always been free, And realize is different than I think I've always been free. It's no, you realize it. There is no spiritual path, and all of life is the spiritual path. And I'm sure people have said this, or you've thought of this, or you've even hoped that you were there. But it is the truth. All of life is. That's what it means to say all of life is spiritual. We're not crafting it into some nicer story. We're not crafting it into this idea that you're always feeling blissful. You're always feeling happy. You're always getting everything that you want. These are ego delusions. Freedom simply says anything that is possible is possible. Your freedom is anything that is possible for you is possible for you. At this point, some people also say, like, all of life is my teacher. And it is. Other people earlier on say these things hoping they don't have to deal with their ego. We love to delude ourselves. We are so scared of seeing what's inside. Well, the person at the end of awakening, where there's no need to wake up from delusion, they know that there is delusion, and they know how to find their way out. That's a powerful thing. And it's that very curiosity that allows them to engage with all of life as a teacher, because they have no interest in deluding themselves. Earlier on, when people are still very blind to a lot of different things, they need specific spiritual teachers to show them things. Otherwise, we just preference whatever we want. And so life can't be everyone's spiritual teacher at first because we're too busy preferencing what we want to see. Whatever that preference is. Preference usually means familiar. It doesn't even mean good. It doesn't mean enjoyable or blissful. It means whatever's familiar. And if that's a lot of pain and trauma, then that's what's going to be more likely preferred. You know, it's hard when you're earlier on to just say, well, that's it. You're just here. You just are. Yeah. It's a blank open canvas. It's full of possibility. Some of it that you would hate and some of it that you would love. And that's just internal responses. And you can get lost in your hate or your love if you want. But why would we do that if we have a choice now? And that's what I'm saying. The end of awakening is a deep realization of personal choice. At the same time, surrendering to what is real. At the same time, surrendering to limitation. We can't know everything. That's another thing people, after their initial blissful moment, will feel like, oh, I feel like I know everything. You don't know everything. Don't say that. just don't. The level of ego arrogance is so off the scale when somebody says, I know everything. It's like, you don't. Instead, we are humbled on this path and we come to that point of like, I need to stay curious because I don't know anything. But I suppose the one thing we might say at the end of awakening is, I do know myself. Some of it. And if I want to know more, I know how. Welcome your thoughts and comments below. Please subscribe to this channel. Do all that sharing juju that you know helps. Have a great day, everyone.